Like it was that much and that it shut down, standing solid and reload.
We've got a lot to cover tonight, so let's get started. March 10th, 7 o'clock, the Planning Commission meeting. We have 3 items on the agenda tonight. We're going to mix it up a little bit because with the zoning ordinance, our zoning committee's here and there's no sense them having to stay if we can do that first and get it out of the way. So we'll do the zoning ordinance first. And then we have Love Our Community at 1116 Woodland Street, a zone change request from R2 to an R3 district, and consideration of an indoor shooting range ordinance. With that being done, whoever is doing the zoning book, it's all yours.
Well, it's come to my attention, let's just say the people present on the zoning board are Jim Sullivan, Jeff Cozy, and myself. And
Elizabeth's on zoning. Jim's not on zoning.
Oh,
I was not. Yeah.
okay, he was a guest, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm sorry, because I just remember. So, anyway, in discussing with Ray, there's a few things that he feels we need to put back in the book that was taken out. And one of it was to add junk. We put it in the chapter with the general provisions. We do have an ordinance, but the ordinance covers more residential properties rather than commercial properties. And in that, it's the storage of junk, which includes operational, unlicensed, non-operational vehicles, and put it back in there so that we have some way of policing extra nasty things that are outside businesses or in M1 districts.
I remember talking about that too. So
We did,
yeah,
but
that makes sense.
it never made it back in the book.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any objections to that part of it? Okay, and then,
Cheryl know exactly what.
What?
Will you let Cheryl know exactly? Okay.
and then eliminating in, under planning portion of it, they have in there for recording of plats. Sections 1 and 2, it requires the fiscal officer to go down and record the plats. And we need to take that out because that is the person that's making the request, it should be their expense in there. Okay, so those are the 2 things right off the top. And also, I think we need to really look at Solon's planning, how to do a subdivision, because they have a pretty good one. And, you know, I talked with Ray about it, I'm gonna get a hard copy, and I really think we need to look at that and discuss it for future on how to plan out these, to prevent the problem we have right now that's occurring at Danbury Glen.
Do you think we'll be able to get that by next Tuesday?
I'm gonna work,
So that way we can schedule a meeting? at
Yes.
this council meeting?
yes, I'm gonna work on that. I'll have some downtime a little bit, because someone recuperating at home. And I don't play nurse well. But does any,
Yeah, there were, out of the public meeting
yes,
last Tuesday, there were 2 items that came up. One was the property of the church being within the historical district as well as Workman's being within the historical districts. Those 2, it's been requested that those 2 properties not be in the historical district.
if you eliminate Workman's out of it, the problem you have is I believe, and this is gonna date me, but the old Western Auto Store on North Prospect.
It would be the only thing over there.
Correct. And I'm not sure really Workman's understands the whole function of the historical district, that it really wouldn't impact them.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, if he ever wanted to change or paint, or it would affect him on the outside.
Yeah,
of his
but he's had the opportunity to paint, he hasn't
But isn't my
done
understanding,
anything crazy.
so my understanding of the historical district is they can do whatever they wanna do as long as they're not receiving federal money.
No, that's absolutely wrong. They have to come to the architecture review board, anything they wanna do to the outside of their building, or get a new sign.
Anything, right? New signs, new,
Paint, colors,
schemes.
anything.
So you're going through all that, we're working right now with our office.
Yeah, this is our historic, just has nothing to do with the federal or the state.
Right, yeah.
All right.
But our architectural review board has not previously been very hard driven.
They've been open.
Yeah, they've been open to what people want it to do.
Well, not always.
Within reason.
Just my commentary on it is, there was another gentleman that night too from the church that
Yeah,
objected.
and that was, I wasn't talking, I was
I know,
taking
that's-
sections at a time.
But I guess my commentary on top of that is, the purpose of the historical district is pretty much getting watered down as more we exclude people, which is okay if that's what council wishes to do. The question then becomes, I know Lake Township eliminated their historical district. We don't have any dollars, federal dollars, or preservation dollars that go with it. But since we make so many exceptions to it when a person applies anyways, should we even have it? I just bring that up as a commentary.
I guess the question goes back to the purpose of the historical district. What's the purpose?
The purpose of
Why?
the historical district was so that they could do multiple functions down there without always coming to council for a conditional use permit. Because currently, right now, the way it stands, they all could be cited downtown for having renters above their businesses. And, you know, and not, where Best Bev and Tucker is, it's supposed to be industrial, and it's a business district. That was the whole reason behind us having the historical district. It was not to dictate to people what colors we wanted or whatever. It was to try and preserve what little history we have already down there and to let it be functional, which it's not. If
Well, can we
don't
only
have-
do that then? Can we get rid of the telling them what they're allowed to do with their buildings and just keep the part that's helping them?
No, I don't think you wanna do that.
Yeah, I think you wanna maintain.
Somewhat of a-
The process at some stage. So the request, I'm just going back to what the request was. The request was for, two of the properties to be removed from the historical district. Currently, they're not in the historical district.
Right, in this
So in
new,
our current,
right,
book.
our new zoning book puts them in it.
Exactly. So,
And he was okay
There-
with the church, just not the other properties,
yeah,
the empty lots.
the empty
Right.
lots. Because then it restricts him on what he can do with the empty
And that makes
lots.
sense, yeah.
But the church was fine with what it was. And if we
Yeah.
stop at the church rather than proceed to the empty lots,
Mhm.
that would solve that issue. I just don't think you can exclude Workman's because of where he is located.
I think if you exclude Workman's, you also have to exclude 126 Prospect, North Prospect.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. You either exclude both or none. You can't have one house or one building or they're just by themselves.
And I think it defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's my thoughts. I don't, Jeff, what's?
The other building in question, what benefit would that building have by being in the historical district?
It could do a lot more things with that building than what they could rent that building and somebody could live there or whatever. Now they can't.
Will they?
Well,
I'm just curious if it's something
I-
that needs to be done now.
They don't do that in for conditional use.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I agree with the mayor, it seems silly to have the one with the.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the requests,
What, you're fine with?
excluding work, I'm fine with excluding workmen, I'm fine with excluding the white properties. I'm not gonna force somebody to do what they don't wanna do in this case, they've been there for years. They don't see the advantage to it, don't let them be a part of it. They haven't made any special requests for anything like that over the years, it's not impacting them. They get a new owner, they change the line, we can always include it later. The historical district isn't about making it difficult for people. If you want it and take advantage, great. If you don't, we'll make it continuous. It'll make sense of the boundaries. But I don't feel like forcing anybody to do something that they don't want to do in this case.
Any other changes?
We need a motion to recommend that at the next council meeting.
I think first we get the changes put into place, and then we get them back to everybody and have everybody review them. And then everybody,
We'll have I'll set a meeting on Tuesday. I'll have some copies of the Solon
okay,
guidelines that you guys can look at.
I should have the rest of these changes by Tuesday, or by next
Right.
Tuesday as well.
And then we can set a meeting and then go from there.
I'll download off of mine too, also and read it so I can get a bigger copy of that.
Anyone from the planning commission have any comments about this?
you worked on it quite a bit. Any comments?
Pardon?
I said you worked on the zoning book quite a bit.
Personally, I think the zoning for the historic district should stop at the railroad tracks and exclude everything to the east of it. That's the way it was set up originally, and it was a definite line of demarcation.
Okay. So you'll make sure that the changes get put into place, we'll get it published next week, we'll review it, and then go from there. Okay? I'll give the zoning book people a chance to
Anything else?
get a chance to get out of here.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Love to stay and have fun with you, but gotta go.
Give it to Cheryl.
I have a patient.
I will give her
Take care.
the ones for the historical district, because I've got it all written down.
I'll get her.
And you do the rest, Jim. And she knows about the weird one too.
See ya. More fun than I want.
All right, next item on the agenda will be Love Our Community. The request is a zone change from an R2 to an R3. Yeah. Come up here, introduce yourself, and
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you all for this opportunity to come before this board this morning, or this afternoon with this request. My name's Tom Erb. I've been chosen as a spokesperson for the Love Your Community group, just to help them through the process, mostly due to my knowledge of local issues, in the area, since I've lived here virtually my entire life. So I'm here tonight, of course, representing Ms. Kelly Viscount, Ross Miller, Kathleen Shank, Dave Sprout, Matt Zook are all here in attendance tonight. They're all members or board members of Love Our Community, as well as Howard Miller, who unfortunately isn't here tonight. And then also their counsel, John Tucker. I'd also like to point out that tonight we do have a Girl Scout troop, number 60532, are here tonight working on their government badge. So we want to make sure that they feel welcome here tonight. Of course, tonight we're coming forward requesting a R2 to R3 zoning change for our community at the address of 116 Woodland Street, southwest in Hartville. Love Our Community is a 501c3 not-for-profit Ohio corporation, is requesting a zoning variance with regard to the usage of the property located at 116 Woodland Street, southwest Hartville, from R2 to R3. The property in question is located in an area that is currently contains mixed usages ranging from multiple businesses, 1 and 2 family dwelling, and a new R3 multifamily development on the same street. There's multiple parks and school facilities also in the general area. Under R3, Lover Community will renovate the existing building presently located on that property within its current footprint to a multifamily unit consisting of 5 individual apartments contained within the present building located on the property. Amenities as part of this multifamily unit may include a multipurpose area, kitchen, office space. And the requested variance or change is consistent with both the historical and current usages of other properties in and near the property, as well as with other approved permitted uses by the planning commission for this area. And accordingly, the Lover Community requests that this requested change be granted.
Anything else?
That's all I have now.
Any questions for Mr. Erb?
My only question is so I understand this, is each one of the units gonna have their own kitchen or just one common kitchen?
No, each individual unit are individual units by themselves will have their own kitchen. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I guess I'd also like to just point out that Ms. Viscount and I have met with Ray via emails and have actually met in person to verify that the use of the building and the uses they intend for the building will be proper for that zoning section, so that everything is compatible with what's going on.
I got one question, Mr. Erb, reading both your intent and also the form that you gave me. What is the multi-purpose area? What's that consist of?
Well, basically, it's the existing gym that's there now. It would be used for the group, you know, maybe they have a group meeting there or whatever. Other possible uses would be, you know, anybody who's affiliated with them, maybe, you know, I had a ladies group might wanna come in and have a Bible study. There's no real plans for, you know, any large-scale use of it. It's just a part of the facility that's there. And even those that are living there could, you know, they could play basketball in there, but it's basically to be utilized by Love Our Community for the people who are residents at the point at that. And Love Our Community does, you know, have some outreach where they do some, they have a little store, they sell stuff, and so the use of it right now would just basically be for the residents or, you know, small groups of people that might wanna use it as a meeting point, but.
Well, when you say meeting of the organization, or anybody can take and wanna use that space for meeting, or?
There's no plans other than to use it for Love Our Community at this point, is all that their plans are.
So what if question, okay, somebody decides they wanna take and, use it for fundraiser, with a different organization, wanna use it because of the space.
Well, that's something that Love Their Community may do for their own organization at this point. They, you know, I guess the room has possible uses for that, but at this point, that's not necessarily on their agenda. You know, is to be utilized for themselves, for the most part at this point, is all they have plans for in their agenda.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because due to the fact of, if you're gonna renovate the 5 apartments, you're required to have 2 parking spaces for each apartment, plus whatever Stark County building says regarding handicap. But now, if you're gonna have a multi-purpose area such as that, you know, that's gonna change the parking on that completely, because you're gonna need X number of parking, for whatever that function's gonna be. I mean, if you're gonna use it for, say if you're gonna have 100 people coming there for some sort of meeting, you know, I mean, this is gonna change that whole characteristic of the parking area outside. That's why I'm trying to come up with what is the biggest reason for that multi-purpose area.
It's, yeah, I'd say at this point, it's just part of the building that's there. They don't have any permanent plans for it. I mean, anything's possible in the future, but, you know, the goal is to stay within the boundaries of the zoning as, you know, we are required to stay within. But to speak as, say, what, you know, what that room can be used for in the future would be, like I say, would be, you know, there's many possibilities, but there's nothing in their plans or agenda at this point, you know, to use it for any other outside sources per se.
You would understand, Mr. Herb, that that would require a conditional use if they did want to have like a community center?
If that's what they want to do in the future, that's something they would have to, yeah, they would have to follow those guidelines in order to do that.
I mean, they understand that.
Yes.
Okay, I want to be clear
Yeah.
that there's some confusion about that before. I mean, because I mean, I'm looking at the villas at Wyndham Bridge, which were approved in June of 2012, which is also an R3 zone district, and that senior center had to have a conditional use in order to be there. And it was approved, but I just wanted to make sure we're all clear that, I mean, tonight all you're asking for is a rezone from R2 to R3.
Right.
All that is going to allow you to do, to go from R2 to R3 is to have 5 apartments as
Right.
opposed to 2.
Right.
So I mean, because I saw in the application mentioning about kitchens and things like that, but that's not necessarily what's in an R3.
Yeah,
Okay.
the items that are on the list are strictly items that are already internal to the building now. There's no plans to change any of those necessarily, other than to make sure that the building does completely comply with all code requirements.
Because those items were Xed out, and that was some of the confusion on the drawings that were
Right.
submitted to the village.
Yeah, there was an expansion on the original platting from the previous request, and, you know, there's no expansion to the building at all. You know, the plans are to renovate, you know, what's there to stop the deterioration of the building itself,
Right.
and, you know, create a good-looking building that, you know, will help the whole area around there to maintain its value as well.
And then once it was, if in fact the rezone was granted and it was allowed to be an R3, then it would have to come back through to see Mr. Benarchek to be, to get a zoning permit for what its intended use is at that time.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that's
Now,
why-
on the footprint that, you know, I have, and I think the mayor would also, you're not expanding that kitchen, correct?
No, there would be no expansion of the exterior of the building at all, other than, I think there's a front porch, you know, a facade porch added to the front just for decor.
And you've eliminated the accessible shower rooms.
Yes, there is no outside or accessible shower rooms, there's no laundry room, there's no, you know, no expansion on the kitchen, no cafe, you know, a lot of things that were out of the original request. You know, that was done under a little bit different scenario, and they've adjusted their plan to more follow guidelines that are needed to be to follow the requested zoning.
Okay, you said that the laundry and cafe from the first floor is eliminated?
Yeah.
And it's gonna show up in the basement?
The,
Because I have a plan here that says proposed basement floor plan that says laundry, clothes, and pantry. So,
well, there'll be a private laundry area, if I stand correct, just for, a private laundry area just for the residents.
That's upstairs.
Yeah, that's
That's
upstairs.
upstairs.
Okay.
that, well, according here, it's Xed out.
The upstairs one is?
Yeah.
Okay, then she might have marked it
No,
up.
on the second floor,
Look at the
and
second.
where
floor.
the 4 apartments are upstairs.
There should be a
and those are-
small, and a laundry, you know, there's not a laundry facility in each one of the units. There's a common laundry which is not uncommon in multi-unit.
Okay, I'm looking at the proposed second floor, and, but it's also showing proposed basement that says laundry room, clothes, and pantry in the basement.
Is that still gonna stay that way? Okay.
Well,
Then it should be, that should have been Xed out.
Are we getting ahead of ourselves? This is a consideration for amongst our two.
These are just preliminary,
Right.
it's not the final.
Make sure we have the right drawings we're looking at against.
Yeah. This would come back to planning a second time anyways, right?
For the actual use, yeah.
For the actual use. Okay.
We should not have Excel drawings.
Yeah,
They should be drawn as
yeah,
to be used.
but this hearing is for a request for an R2 to an R3. Has nothing to do with the drawings or the building. That's to be proposed at a second meeting if everything goes to an R3, right? Am I correctly what I'm thinking?
At this point, they just have to demonstrate generally why they wanna go from R2 to R3.
Yeah, and the demonstration, to me, the demonstration here is that they're looking to do 5 apartments instead of 2, which would require them to go to an R3. Okay.
After that, we can submit drawings that match.
Right.
I have no objection to that.
You have none?
None at all.
Morris, any objection, R2 to an R3 for the purpose of the 5?
Nope. As long as they see final drawings
Yep,
before.
you will. Oh, yeah. Mary, you're also a voter, any objections?
Not at this time.
Okay. So the proposal here is to go from an R2 to an R3 for the purpose of 5. The building will support 5 apartments. Then, the first thing we have to do is we make a motion to present this to council. The second part is we have a public hearing for a zoning change within 30 days or 30 days from.
No earlier.
From council.
No
Yep,
earlier.
no earlier than 30 days from next Tuesday. And then if that goes well and the ordinance passes for the zone change, then you'll have to represent a building,
Completed drawings,
completed drawings,
which that will be,
that
the
is
same thing that would
acceptable,
would be submitted to the county.
that's acceptable for the
Right.
entire
And then
planning
s-
commission.
Site plans for here.
Yeah.
Right.
We, Bruce, as you know.
Yeah, the site plans won't change a lot, they've been seen before, but, in the present scenario, the site plans should be reasonably accurate. There was just some interior changes that haven't been able to be addressed by the architect. He's working on it, he hasn't got them completely yet.
You can ask if there's any
Any other comments from anybody?
As far as parking goes, they have ball games there every Saturday. I live across the street. They park all over.
And I apologize, but can you state your name? and
Daryl
where-
Hostetler. I live at 1123 Woodland.
Thank you.
We would, in the plans for the building renovation itself, it would have to include enough parking to handle and unfortunately, the ballpark is not part of this property, so
I know, but the property gets used for that all the time.
I understand that too, but, you know, in reference to the property, would have to support the parking for the apartments, it would also have to support the parking for any additional, activities that would be going on within Love Our Community. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. But as far as today, the motion on the floor is this. It's a motion to present the council the change from an R2 to an R3 for the property of 1116 Woodland Street.
Second.
I have a second. Does And take a vote for, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, we'll present that to council on March the 17th. And then, after presenting the council, we will set a date for a public hearing to be no earlier than 30 days from the 17th.
Just to be clear, council will not be voting on this on the 17th. We will just be setting the public hearing.
Yeah, we'll be setting the public hearing, so.
Yeah, we can figure it out on the 17th.
It'd be like the 16th, that'd be the second, 14th, the 20th.
21st would be the
21st.
first available council meeting.
21st,
April 21st at 6:45.
April 21st at 6:45. Okay,
That's all.
that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
The next discussion item on the agenda is the zoning ordinance itself. Everybody has a copy, I hope? Oh, I mean the indoor shooting range, sorry, not the zoning ordinance, I'm reading. So the indoor shooting range, so this is consideration for an ordinance to allow indoor shooting ranges in the village of Hartville. And it's just an ordinance to consider that. Everybody have a chance to read it? Review it? Any comments or questions about it? I will make one comment. The solicitor did note in here that the applicant shall demonstrate in section 4A. He included the Ohio Administrative Code and the Ohio Revised Code. Those sections actually refer to the NRA Range Source Book of 2012, which is pretty much the standard that's being used in Ohio. Everything else looks to me to be accurate and acceptable.
I agree. It doesn't sound like it's going to disturb anybody either.
Okay. Is there any public opinion on this? Hearing none, I will make a motion that we present this to council at the next meeting on March the 17th for approval.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? Hearing none, we'll present that March the 17th. If there's no other business, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.